The summer of 2018 was a scorcher in France. The heat wave was relentless, with temperatures soaring to record highs, making it one of the hottest summers in recent memory. People were struggling to cope with the intense heat, seeking refuge in the shade and cooling off in fountains and pools. But the heat wasn't the only thing making things hot. The atmosphere was thick with tension, and it wasn't just because of the weather. There was an underlying sense of anticipation, as if something monumental was on the horizon. Something big was about to happen. The air was electric with suspense, and everyone could feel it. It was as if the entire country was holding its breath, waiting for the inevitable, something that would shock the whole country. News channels were on high alert, ready to break the story that would soon captivate the nation. Redoine Faid was about to escape. This wasn't just any prison break. It was a meticulously planned operation that would leave everyone in awe. Faid wasn't just some petty thief. He was a notorious criminal, infamous for his high-profile heists and his ability to evade capture. His name was synonymous with daring and audacity. He was a famous bad guy, known for his daring robberies and even more daring escapes. His criminal exploits were the stuff of legend, and his latest plan was about to cement his reputation even further. Row Prison, a super-secure place, thought they had him locked up tight. They were wrong. Despite the high security, Faid had found a way to outsmart the system. On a sunny Sunday in July, Faid did the impossible. The day started like any other, but it would soon become one for the history books. It was fast and brutal. The escape was executed with military precision, leaving no room for error. A helicopter suddenly appeared out of nowhere. It swooped down, creating a whirlwind of dust and debris. It was a stolen ride to freedom. This wasn't a movie. This was real life. The audacity of the escape left everyone stunned, and the whole world was watching. News of the escape spread like wildfire, capturing the attention of people around the globe. It was a summer to remember, for reasons no one could have anticipated. Row Prison was a giant concrete block, a fortress of stone and steel. It was supposed to be a symbol of how tough French justice was, a place where the most dangerous criminals were kept under lock and key. Thick walls, super tight security, guards patrolling day and night. Or so they thought. Inside, Redoine Faid was planning. He was always thinking, always scheming. All he wanted was to be free. Every time he heard the bars clang shut, it was a reminder of his captivity. Every time the dim prison lights flickered, it fueled his desire to escape even more. The darkness of the corridors mirrored the darkness of his thoughts. Faid wasn't going to give up. He was a clever guy, always planning, always looking for a way out. He started figuring out how to break out. He watched the guards, studied their routines, and noted every detail. He looked for weak spots. He was like a chess player, thinking many moves ahead, always strategizing. His plan, a super daring escape everyone would talk about. It was bold, risky, and required perfect execution. But for Faid, it was the only way to freedom. The plan was crazy, it was dangerous, it was completely nuts. But for Faid, it was the only way. He needed help from the outside, loyal friends willing to risk it all. The plan needed a helicopter. It would be their escape route. But first, they had to get one. His helpers were like shadows. Nobody knew who they were. They got guns. They made connections. The plan was happening. It was a huge risk, like rolling the dice. But Faid liked to take risks. Section 4, Wings of Freedom. The day of the escape was bright and sunny. It was a Sunday, a day to relax, not at Row Prison. The stolen helicopter started up. Its blades spun, making a whooshing sound that meant trouble. Inside the prison, everyone was nervous. Faid, his heart racing, was ready. The helicopter came closer to the prison, looking like a big bug against the blue sky. The guards were scared. This wasn't a practice run. This was real. Something impossible was happening right in front of them. Section 5 beyond the wall, the helicopter landed in the courtyard. The ground shook. Armed men jumped out, their faces covered with masks. They moved like soldiers. They had a job to do. Explosions boomed. Smoke filled the air. It was total chaos. The accomplices ran into the visiting room. They found Faid. They looked at each other. This was it. They grabbed him and ran. Every second was important. They piled into the helicopter. The blades started spinning again, louder than the police sirens that were now going off. They were free. Section 6, The Long Arm of the Law. This is the story of Redoine Faid, a man whose audacious escape from prison shocked the entire nation of France and captivated the world. The escape shocked all of France. News of his daring breakout spread like wildfire, leaving everyone in disbelief. It was like they'd been tricked. People couldn't fathom how he managed to pull off such a feat. The police started a huge search. They mobilized every resource at their disposal, setting up roadblocks and conducting extensive search operations. They were going to catch Faid, but Faid was gone. He had vanished into thin air, leaving the authorities baffled. He disappeared like a ghost. Every lead turned cold, and every clue led to a dead end. He was always one step ahead. His cunning and resourcefulness kept him out of reach. The chase went on and on. It was a relentless pursuit, with the police hot on his trail but never quite close enough. It was like a game of cat and mouse, but all over the world. Faid's escape turned into an international manhunt, with authorities from different countries joining the search. Everyone watched, amazed by how bold it all was. The media coverage was intense and people were glued to their screens, following every twist and turn. But even the smartest crooks can't hide forever. The net was closing in on Faid, and his days of freedom were numbered. 3 months later, they caught Faid. His luck had finally run out, and the law had caught up with him. His time on the run was over. The authorities had finally managed to bring him to justice, but his story, well, everyone still remembers that. The tale of Redoine Faid's escape and capture remains etched in the memories of those who witnessed it.